Hello, gorgeous, beautiful, divine intuitives, and welcome to the second International Intuitive Speaker. So we started last week with Michelle, and I'm bringing a speaker to you every week for you to check in with them before the actual day, which is, do you know, Al? Do you know?
It's 11/11, right?
Of course, is the first ever International Intuitives Raising Awareness Day. Well, actually, the Raising Awareness Day was on the 11th of May, but the actual International Intuitives Day, first ever, is the 11th of the 11th. So people on the pond can't get it wrong either, even though it's always Veterans Day. Over there. It's only on a Sunday here. So everyone I've asked in America has been like, I was like, yeah, okay, well, there is a link, but we won't go into that today. Today, we're going to go into the link between your intuition, your angels, and your guides. So if you have any questions, if you've ever wanted to know about who your angel is, or you have any questions about angels, or probably anything else, because Al is an amazing woman of wisdom who has been on the circuit pretty much as long as I have. It's been a while now, hasn't it? So Al is an amazing alchemist, author, and has an amazing angel deck now as well that we're going to show you in a little bit. Have you got it there? What's it called again? The Archangel Fire Oracle. Wow. So we're going to be using some cards for that. We're going to try something. We just got intuitive nudges backstage, didn't we? And show them your crystal you got nudged to bring.
We color coordinated today, and I was actually going to wear turquoise, and then Tiff's got the Muse Tarot. Of course, we're completely matching. And, we couldn't make it up, really, could you?
You really couldn't make it up. So we're going to start
right down to the pink mug as well.
Oh wow! And it's just the right pink. So there we go. So we're going to be aligned today and help you guys get aligned as we do. And we're going to start just with a little check-in with Al, because Al did speak on the 11th of May, which was the Raising Awareness for the 11/11 event. And so I'm just going to check in with Al about what's been happening in her world for the last 6 weeks. And then we will... Lucy says she has your deck, Al. Isn't that amazing?
I've got to, how can I see the comments? Oh, I can. Here we go.
Yeah, that's great. That's brilliant, isn't it?
And that's all
the way over in Texas. So there you go. Reaching the far corners of the world. So we're going to do a little catch up. I will stopping going around like a fly. We'll do a little catch up, and then we will, talk a little bit about intuition, angels, guides. How do you know what's coming at you? Who's speaking to you? Blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to try this little experiment. We don't know how it's going to go, but it was an intuitive nudge before we got here about shuffling at the same time and pulling a card at the same time and seeing any correspondences. Does that sound exciting? Hello, Julia. Lovely to see you here. So Julia was one of the ones that is interested in knowing who is speaking to her. I know that. So any questions that you have, Julia, do put them in the chat box. So Al, with your pink cup of tea, hold it up, because look what I've got.
Oh my God, Tiffany. You're not heart chakra up to the hilt, are we? My heart is behind me as well.
Mm-hmm. I've got a heart on my fireplace too. Oh, you can't see it.
We came prepared. Amazing. Love it.
So, my lovely, what has been going on for you since the 11th of May?
So much, and I think this is something that will probably resonate with most people. Huge shifts, huge changes, definitely since the eclipse corridor. Massively, I mean, talking about intuition, it really is about listening to the intuition and the gut feeling. For quite a while now, I've had this really strong nudge to let go of doing one-on-one sessions with people. But of course, it's my bread and butter, really. It's my main that's my main bag. And then literally had to listen to it just yesterday with nothing else in the planning, by the way, nothing else coming in. I got very strong guidance, you know, please close your books now, just close them for a time. You need time to sit back and digest and take care of ourselves. And those of us who are working as healers, you know, we've really been you know, on the front line of all of this pandemic and everything, because everyone's needed help. And I know that many of us haven't really had a chance to have a break. So I feel like there's a huge evolution going on at the moment. And I haven't said that it's forever. I just think that it's evolving. So I feel like I probably will start seeing one-on-ones again, but in a slightly different way, perhaps. And I know that, you know, I've channeled another new healing system, which I'm calling Archangel Healing. And that's coming through and being developed, and it's been certified by the CMA, and it's part of the book that I'm currently writing. So I want to develop the course and really start helping people to become attuned, because it's all about helping. It really is now helping people like we're doing today to connect to their own guidance, their own intuition, but also their own healing capabilities. That's really the guidance behind this deck as well, is how to become the angel yourself. It's not so much about reaching out and getting someone to rescue you. It's how do you embody it yourself. It has to be about empowerment now. We cannot, you know, while we're here to help each other, we can't carry each other. And I know that a lot of healers are feeling particularly exhausted at the moment. I certainly have been. And in order to be responsible for my clients, I also need to start taking a step back to make sure that my energy is good and okay, and I'm looking after myself as well. So that's sort of what's been going on with me. A lot of people are resonating. A lot of people this week have been feeling really exhausted, physically tired. There's huge upshifts, lots of ascension symptoms. And I don't know if any women are watching, if any women have been having heat coming through their bodies. I'm getting a lot of women feeling physical, powerful surges of heat. This is about the body really shedding on that cellular level old karmic programming, lots of ascension symptoms and things like that. And obviously it's different for everybody. So it's just about giving yourself time to integrate and to rest. We really need to rest and have time to tune in and just hold ourselves in love, really hold ourselves in deep compassion. So yeah, that's what's been happening with me. And
I totally love your bravery. That's something that's always shone out, is that you will, I think if I needed to be anybody's guide, it would be yours. Not that you probably want me as a guide, but it's just because I know how much you obey. It's like you hear it and it's like, well, whereas I will argue with them. I
do argue with them too. I do. Yeah, I do put them through their paces. I'm like, really, honestly, yeah, but where's my, but you see, I go through these huge, the shifts are so big. It's like, I do hold on and I ignore them for a while and I argue with them and I go, no, this is where my money's coming from. But that's very 3D as well. And I've also been going through a huge ascension. We're all going through it. The relationship with money and finances is all being upgraded as well. It's going from the old greedy paradigms into a much lovelier, there's all these abundance codes coming through now, and it's about saying yes to that, and it's about trust. So it's like, can you let go of the shore of something that you know you need to let go of, that maybe not be working in the way that you expect it to work? But it's really interesting because I was talking to a very dear friend of mine today, who's an amazing ascension teacher. Her name's Cielanu Estrella. Some of you might be familiar with her work. And I was talking to her about it. And immediately while we were talking, you know, I've put the thing on my website saying temporarily closed for individual sessions. And the next thing I know, I'm having a conversation with her and she's like, well, I was going to ask you if you do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, yes, that's kind of been landing. But she kind of came in and confirmed that that's the next step. So almost as soon as I let go of the shore, the answer dropped in. But it's about having that trust, because you can't make space for the new to come in if you're clinging on to the old. But yeah, I argue with them all the time, Tiff. And you are allowed to, by the way.
It's never really served me well to do that, but we have to do it. And it's interesting you're talking about that, because I've had a similar conversation today in the tarot about the process from the devil to the tower to the star, which is letting go of the shore. The shore is the devil. It's that material security, and the tower is just that, like, oh my God, I'm being blasted from my security. And then the star is where everybody wants to get to, but actually the amount of trust that it takes to be in the star is just as challenging as being in the devil or the tower, because every single tarot card is just as challenging, as well as it is amazingly positive. And so I love that this conversation is resonating out there today. I have been tuning in myself, and I think the change is phenomenal at the moment. And the ascension that you're speaking of, I think is really, really huge. It feels pretty intense at the moment.
Like speaking of the tower, you know, I do a lot of work with Mary Magdalene and the Magdalene energies and the divine feminine, and the message that I got was, this was like literally 2019, before all this stuff started really ramping up. The goddess Sekhmet, I had a transmission through that consciousness, and she said, she came in really strong, and she said, get off your knees, and you have to become the tower. You have to be your own tower. It was get up, and don't bow before me. Like, we're not here to bow before any guide or deity or anything. We have to see ourselves as completely equal to them. We have to embody those frequencies and become our own divinity now. And there's no nonsense about it. It's not messing, you know. Oh, Tiffy, you're frozen. Where are you?
That's me being all tower-fied.
That's it. We've got to become that. You know, as we harness the divine electricity, we become the conduit for it, the pure channel for that energy.
So much sense. But when you say that, it really pulls us out of our little stuff, doesn't it? I can feel like my little namby-pamby, like, self that's going like, oh, I've got this, poor me, woe is me. It's like, boom. No, there's none of that. Which is really empowering.
It's much more empowering. And you know, this is the thing, when I talk about this leads nicely into the angelic frequencies and the angels, because angels, for those who are unaware with angelic energy, they're very different to a guide. They kind of sit in the realm of consciousness. So they're both a guide, but they're also an aspect of ourselves. So you can become and embody the energy of an angel, and especially archangels. They can be with everyone at all times, because they are a bit like the essence of the relationship between us and the divine, the bridge between us and our divinity, if you will. And they're like different facets. If the divine was a diamond, the archangel frequencies would be the highest and clearest facets of that diamond. So it's like an angle. It brings in certain qualities of the divine. It's 16:16 on the clock as I'm saying this. And it means that we can become those angels. Even the names, they're phonetically, from a physics perspective, the Hebrew language is based on sacred geometry, because all the letters of the Hebrew alphabet fit into that Star of David pattern. So when you say Mikael, the L part means of God. So Mikael is like the protection of God, the power of God, and your courage of God, the will of God. So when you say Mikael, or when you think it, it's like you're invoking your own ability to tap into the will of God. You're invoking that energy within you. So you are Michaeling, you know, and when you invoke Raphael, you're healing yourself. Your own healing capabilities are switched on. From our 3D human perspective, we can see them. They are also separate guides to us, but they're within us and outside of us. And that's the great paradox, isn't it, of all this stuff. It's fascinating. If you study sacred geometry and quantum physics, the answer, it's the angels are really the essence of all of that.
And I'm blown away because you said it's 1616 whilst you're talking about this. And do you know the number of the tower?
Oh my God.
And do you know how many yods, which are like droplets?
The yod
Yes, the thing.
spectrum. I was just talking
Yes,
about
the
it.
yods. There's 16 yods
16 yods.
in the tower card, in the traditional tower card, not so much the modern ones. So is there like, I mean, you were talking about, I love the way you said it because there was a real invoking energy. I was just sat here like the tower was coming through. And I'm just wondering, would you know what angel may be the tower card in the tarot? Would it be possible to know that or not? We'd probably have to look at the...
Very possibly, but I think when I'm tuning into my deck and I feel like I need to pull her out because...
Yes, I'm here like starting to shuffle, so it feels like... Shall we shuffle and just see what happens?
Well, the first one I want to talk about, just because she's based on Mary Magdalene, is Sophia, which is the divine feminine energy. She is that frequency of Divine Mother. Now, I depicted her as Magdalene, but Magdala actually means tower. The word tower, she's actually known as the tower. It was part of her priestess lineage that Mary Magdalene was known as that tower. And this is really about embodying that highest frequency of that divine feminine. It's to find your inner strength. So that's the one that comes to mind. But yes, I think we should shuffle as well.
Yeah.
Who comes
We've got lots of lovely ladies joining us. We've got Anne as well. Lucy is saying 16 is her personal number of fortune and luck. So that's interesting. This was not planned. This is just this is just what's coming through live when two channels get together. So if any of you have any questions, please do whilst Al is here. And I think, Al, should we just try it? And shall we?
Got 3.
You've got 3, have you?
Oh, yeah. And you're not going to believe the first one. Card 16, Galgaliel, which is the divine chariot, which is basically the Merkaba.
Oh my God. So this really fits with tarot because when you do 1 + 6 in tarot, you have number 7, which is the chariot.
Oh my God. Well, there she is in all her glory. Galgaliel's like a solar angel as well. She's really all about getting into your power, really in that divine. She comes in on that yellow gold energy. She's about speaking your truth. She's about protection. It's about really ramping up your frequency. She's a divine messenger as well. I depicted her as kind of like a Valkyrie. So there's all the Norse. She's got all the rune shield here, so it's all protection. And she's got the wings on her shoes like Hermes. She's like the winged messenger as well. And from a celestial point of view, the constellation I think of with this is my beloved home constellation, which is Auriga. Interestingly, Auriga has the same meaning as my surname. Wenman comes from the French word wainman, which means the wagoner or the charioteer. So there's all these links. It's incredible.
Do you know what my birth card is? Chariot, which also means tower. And
I can
then Sekhmet is the Leo. So yes, everything is tying up. But let's see if we can put a spanner in the works, or is this actually going to work? Shall we see? What's this one? This one's stuck to my hand. Oh, it's the card after the tower.
Oh, the star.
But oh my God, it looks very Egyptian type, doesn't it? Yeah.
Really stunning.
Yes.
Really. And that's the card. Look at it. It's embodying. She's embodying the light.
She's embodying the tower in a way, isn't she?
Yes, with that heaven to earth and earth to heaven. She's got the pyramid there and everything.
Wow. So this really does feel like where we're at then as a nation.
Look at the solar energy coming through both of them. So it's about really embodying your light at the moment. This is ascension, really ascension that we're in. Wow.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Amazing. And I don't know who it is. Sorry. I don't know if it's you, Lucy, or someone else. Just pulled the moon and strength alongside Sophia, but I don't know if that's your name or whether that was a card we pulled or something. Did you say the name Sophia, Alex?
Yeah, we pulled Sophia. This card.
That's what
Sophia.
I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just pulled the moon and the sun and strength.
And
So strength would be
alongside.
Sekhmet, and the moon is also the chariot because it's Cancer, star sign. So the solar and the moons and the eclipses. Oh my God. I think we really are on an ascension gateway by the looks of things, aren't we?
Very major. I pulled two others. Two others came out with it as well. And we have Jeremiah, who is all about mercy. And he's beautiful. It's like your ancient wisdom, your ancient purity, the purity of your soul. All the snow and the ice really represents that clarity of purpose, knowing that really you are a divinely perfect child of light. You can't do anything wrong. You when you connect to your perfection, come into mercy for yourself and others.
Oh, and Al's frozen. At least she's frozen for me, and I seem to still be here.
Oh, here we go. I'm here.
You're back.
You just had a reset. That was amazing.
You came into yourself.
There you go. The other one I've got is the Irin. These are the twin Irin, and that's all about divine justice, harmony, balance. The goddess Ma'at, so the weighing of the heart against the feather. Blind justice, lady justice. So that would be the justice card, I'm guessing, in the tarot.
Yeah, this is weird because I'm wondering if you did this in alignment with the tarot, because this is the justice used to be number 8 in the tarot. So 5 plus 3 equals 8. It's in the modern decks, it's 11, but it used to be number 8.
This was completely random, not planned. The numbers, so it's obviously just channeled that way. But yeah, that makes sense. And it's infinity too, isn't it? You know, that the infinite, the balance, the harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's number 8 is the strength card, so we're back to that energy as well. So they're all tying up. It was Joe that was pressing the moon and strength. Ding, ding. Let's have a bit of moon energy, bit of strength energy. And okay, so Lucy was saying, no, I'm not pulling cards. And two Lucys here saying they're not pulling cards. Any questions about guides, peeps? Otherwise, we might just finish on a 5-minute chat about, I mean, what would you say, Al, about someone that came to you and said, how do I know when an angel, for instance, is speaking to me?
Well, I find that angels have a slightly different energy to guides. Guides tend to be, you know, most guides or spirit guides tend to have had a human existence on some level from my perspective, but you can also get celestial guides, galactic guides, but it's worth doing a little exercise and tuning in. Normally what I do is take people through a process where they become familiar with what an angel's energy feels like. But I would say that angelic energy, it's not always light and fluffy, by the way. It can be very powerful. But the overarching theme with angelic energy is this frequency of such high, clear, pure love that it just about knocks your socks off. And it's a love that goes beyond any human experience of love. So you will know implicitly when you've been touched by an angel. Your heart will really open. You might feel really moved to tears. There's a real beauty in it and a real love, and it will feel no nonsense, really. Also, the guidance from an angel tends to come in at a much higher level or frequency. You know, guides tend to be, depending on what dimensional level they're working at too. So you might have a spirit guide coming in from higher astral level that's coming in with good advice, but it's more practical advice on like an earthly level. You can actually ask intuitively at what dimensional level the guide is coming in. You can ask where they come from, ask to be given an image in your mind about what they're representing to you. You could even do some wild writing. because we have so many different levels. The other thing about guides is that I've definitely found we are in charge. So this is about being the tower. You can upgrade your guide team. So say you're taking on a new skill. Like recently I started doing singing lessons and I was like, right, I need a singing guide. Bring me in a singing guide and a singing angel. Upgrade my guide team so that I know what I'm doing. If you're taking an exam, bring me in the guides that I need to help me through this exam. You can also ask that if there are any interfering guides or guides holding you back, that you can upgrade those. I tend to know kind of I go with my feelings. So we're sentient beings first and foremost. And when there's a guide around me, normally I'll feel a spirit guide will come in on either side of me and stand beside me. Whereas an angel, this is my personal way, so it might be different for you. Whereas angels will usually come in directly behind me, stand over me, or even stand in my energy field and integrate with me, or even come in from the front. They tend to be in the center, whereas the spirit guides tend to be either side. And then the same sort of thing, like galactic guides, I find come in more of a group consciousness. So you'll feel like you've got a whole team standing around you. When I have galactic energies around me, they feel cool. It's like a cold, it's funny you pulled the star. I feel a cold starlight sort of energy and a different sort of tingling. It's more of a strange feeling. Still really loving. When you only work with ascended loving guides, obviously don't need to say that, but with a galactic guide, some of them are so just loving and beautiful, and I feel the energy like I've got cool starlight tingling, sparkling through my whole body. Beautiful. Whereas angelic energy also tingles but feels like warmth, like a warm sunlight coming through the body, a warm loving sunlight. And then spirit guides, it depends. Like if there's someone you know, like your ancestors, they always feel familiar. It feels like you've got family around you. What's your take on it? I want to hear how you experience it.
Okay, yeah, I will do. I'm just looking through the comments and I'm seeing that Julia's saying you've answered her question already. There's someone saying that they have it to inbox people. So Anna Shay, just so you know, I don't know who they are, so I don't like calling people trolls, but just I wouldn't I wouldn't do that if I were you. So just to let you know that, guys, because I know people have been had so on my page, so just ignore that. All right, so
Simon might be a guardian angel too. Some guardian angels have very strong, like just human names, really normal human names.
I dreamt about someone last night, an old friend of mine called Simon. I don't dream about him normally at all. So dreams again. So when you say last night, Lucy, was that a dream? And I believe in the meanings of names and looking up the meanings of names. I think the meanings of names say a lot. Yeah, the numerology and the meanings in terms of like how I feel guides. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really tuned into the differences of things, to be honest. I mean, when I channel, that's when I have my highest bliss, like when I sit and in meditation and consciously work at connecting with the highest possible guide and setting an intention. And I've channeled accidentally before, which was amazing, and that was Osho. And I was really taken back. Do you have time? I might just tell this story quickly. Okay, so basically I was using the Osho Zen deck that I have here with a client. See, I don't do one-to-ones anymore either, really, not much. If I've worked with someone for a long time and I can see that nothing else will work for them, but they need that, then yeah. But I stopped doing one-to-ones really a long time ago because of the same reason that you're speaking of now about, that person. It's better for the person to actually get to that place of I don't know, walking the path themselves, I guess. Yeah, is the way to say it.
You work very alchemically too, Tiff, don't you? It's very, yeah.
Yeah. And so, and I think maybe I was also a bit burnt out. I think I did something like 365,000 readings in just over a decade. So I think I was just a bit burnt out and I was getting a little bit ratty. It wasn't good. So I had a reading with a regular client, and she was really hung up on a relationship, and I pretty much lost it. I pretty much got very angry, and I was just like, this is not good. This is not good. And I came away feeling awful, and also like, well, she won't be back then, was, as well. And she did. She came back a few months later.
Probably said thank you.
No, she wasn't quite that. But
it's like the proverbial slap.
But she came back, and we were doing the reading, and it was all normal. And then I don't know if you have this. It's like they save that one thing until the end, the one burning thing.
Always the
really
worst thing. Always the biggest thing at the very end. When you think you're done, they drop in the biggest thing.
Exactly. And that's exactly what she did. And it was back about this relationship again. And I was using the Osho Zen. And I've always been on the fence about Osho, even though I've got the cards.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
He's a bit intimidating, and a bit like extreme and everything. And so his cards are great, but
we can't maybe I think there's a few stories about his way of life and his human self as well, right?
Very extreme. Yes, the sex Rolls Royce guru. And his cards, although I don't think they're made by him, I think that was after he passed, but the cards are amazing for bringing you back in rather than going too far into what I call outtuition, which is easily done with tarot. So they're really good for bringing you back in. And I was using them, and she asked that question. Boom. I was out. I was totally out of my body. And this being came into my body, and I started sitting, doing Indian mudras and speaking in this like male Indian voice. And the message was exactly the same as I would have said, but there was no ego. There was no emotional attachment.
Somebody's just walked by. I literally just physically saw like this light apparition just shimmer past me in the room. I was like, hello.
It was just totally and utterly incredible. It was.
Wow.
It goes to show that it's not exactly what you say, it's the energy you say it with.
Yeah.
That's like you say, you've got to look after your energy and make sure that your energy is good first and foremost. And I think it was around then that I stopped, I was on the TV then and things like that. I started pulling away from that and standing for a different way of working with these energies. But yeah, I feel like I've met Osho from the inside. I think it was Osho. I've never been too concerned with identities, but that feeling was
when it feels right, when it feels good and true.
It was so powerful. And it was like, oh, actually, this is the true essence. This is like meeting him from the inside rather than seeing him with the judgments on the outside, which again, we do with tarot, and then we get blocked there and fearful. Whereas when we actually experience it, and again, maybe what you're working with as well, but when you experience it on the inside, it's
there's invocation and there's evocation. An invocation is more like where you're calling it into you, you're embodying it. And evocation is more like where they appear to you externally and deliver the message, especially when it comes to angelic energies. And invocation is literally you start to alchemize the qualities and the teachings of that angel within your own life and experience. And evocation is like having an angel appear to you physically to deliver a message externally. And then you can have invocation and evocation happen at the same time, right, which is absolutely nuts. And I have had that happen to me a few times where an archangel has stepped into my body, and it's like a holographic surround sound experience where I kind of become them, but I can also see them from all angles. But they're in my body. It's like they're absolutely just merging with me, and it's like the whole universe disappears, and you're just having this incredible, fully embodied, but very visual at the same time experience. And then you communicate with them, but they communicate through you. There's nothing quite like it. It really is a multidimensional experience. And even talking about Osho, like you can get different levels of a person, even yourself. So we have our human 3D self, we have our higher self, we have lots of different facets. You might even at some point meet your galactic soul aspect, or meet your angelic soul aspect, or your ascended master soul aspect, or a part of you that's been an ascended master in another dimension or lifetime. So it feels like you got a very high, clear, higher consciousness aspect of Osho as well, because he did go through the levels of enlightenment in his earthly life. A lot of ascended masters have achieved enlightenment in their daily human lives, but then decided to come back and help us as guides and assist humanity on that level. So it feels like you were obviously working at a really high frequency, which doesn't surprise me, Tiff, because you do. And then he was like a match for that and went, oh, here we go. We'll just go in here and pop in.
I think I was like working at this like, don't ask me that question. Damn, you've asked me that question. Help.
There he was. When we ask for help, we get it, don't we?
Yeah, totally. So just looking here, Lucy is saying, I have felt them walk with me to the left at times, and this helps me understand the difference. Awesome. Another Lucy says, I had called in my angels and they delivered the name Simon. I'm definitely going to look up.
Yeah, there's Simon. Yeah.
Just prior to sleep. Julia says, I always get visions very early in the morning, usually before 4 a.m., and they are vivid. But when I know my guide is there, it's when I am meditating or asking for a message.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Always remember you're in charge. You're in control. I treat it like I would treat normal daily life. And this is where your intuition and your gut feeling comes in really handy. Because if you ever get something, it could look right. You might have an amazing visual. It might come in light. It might say all this flowery language. But if something feels off, it could be a trickster. So if your gut feeling is going, you know, there's that law that if you ask a question 3 times and they can't answer truthfully, send them away. You know, do you come in 100% love for my highest good? Are you here to help? Are you here in light, in love, in whatever, for, you know, just basically, are you here to help me for my highest good is a good question to ask. And if they can't answer it, or if they can't give you their name, I once had this being come in and it was masquerading as like some kind of angelic being. And it came in and I was like, oh, who are you? You're very impressive. La 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 la. And I said, well, who are you? And the answer was something like, I am he that thou hast, blah. And it was going around in circles and it couldn't give me a name. It could not give me and I went, wow. I'm not missing. Give me your damn name. Yeah. And the name that came through was not a name I wanted to hear. So I was like, goodbye. And then, you know, you have the power to send them on. And I also, you know, you can send them on, and then you can also, you know, if they won't go, it's like calling the police. I call on Archangel Michael, you know, call in extra resources, you know, if you need to call in your true guides to goodbye or clear any contracts that you have with them, you can just go in and do that. But be very matter of fact about it. Nothing has power over you. Your primary guide should always be your higher self, your own divinity, your overlighting soul aspect, and that's your gatekeeper and everything. I would always have myself as the highest will and authority in any of this, and then any other guides work under the canopy of your highest point of divinity.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like the same whether it's a guide or an angel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So any kind of
Trust yourself first before anything else.
yeah, and it's always in the feeling, and like you
Yeah.
say, the three asking something 3 times, and does it feel good? I mean, they're never going to tell
Yeah.
you something bad.
No, they're always going to be loving guides. If
Yeah.
they're here for your highest good, they're never gonna. Then they're not in the business of putting you into fear. They're not in the business of telling you what to do or dominating you or overwhelming you in any way. They're in the business of empowering you and building you up and supporting you.
Mm. And it doesn't mean that they're not tough love either, does it?
No.
Yeah, I remember my step adult, I call them now. Nick is non-binary, so I have to say step adult just in case you're wondering that's why am I using strange language. But when Nick was about 12 or 13, they missed the bus, and I made them walk to school. It was only about 2 miles, and I used to walk to school further than that. But I remember them saying to me that was the most unmaternal thing I had ever done. And I remember saying to them, "You think that's unmaternal? Wait until you meet your spirit guides." So it's like they will give you that tough love, and the guides for me do come through the tarot. So I remember having a very intense time with the hangman when I was being published, and it was because I was trying to control the timing of the book, and it took about 18 months. He was
11 years.
11 years, and
11
the
years.
hangman is number 12. So on the 12th year, you give birth to the creativity
Yes.
in the world, which is the hangman.
But I had to embody all 40 of the lessons before I birthed it. It had to, yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
like you say, like you do.
Yeah, and it's true, the hangman is the other flip side of the empress. So it's like the creation in the world is getting stuck around the foot, like the umbilical cord. And it does, what it's like cutting the apron strings. It takes a long time in life. And so it was like 18 months. Honestly, I worked in Covent Garden. You know what that is like.
Oh
There's
God,
like
yes.
hanged men everywhere. They were like had their heads in buckets, or they were hanging upside down playing the guitar, which is also the hanged man. I was reading for publishers, and the hanged man would come up and they'd go, "That's me," and I'd go, "I know."
Right.
And he was in my dreams. Honestly, I was being haunted by the hanged man. And then he turned up in meditation, just quickly, and I was just like, "What? What do you want?"
Maybe
And
it was a major past life where you were hanged and you needed to move through that. It
well,
feels like
yeah, I don't know. There was things like people I'd known that had done that I was dreaming of that seemed to be stuck, and there was there was a lot of stripping during those 18 years, and it would be like, right, strip that layer now. I'll be rid of him. No, and it
speaking
was
of
like going
stripping, Gail says
deeper.
she had a dream that she lost all her clothes.
Oh, really? So I see there. Okay, so maybe there's something here about this for you, Gail. And so basically, then what happened was in the meditation, after about 18 months of being stalked by the hangman, he turned up in this flipping meditation, and I said, "What?" Because I'd done all this stripping. What? Why are you still here? What do you want? And he looked at me and he said, "Tiffany, you are so hung up on the timing of this book, and it's not even yours. Whatever makes you think you have the divine right?"
Wow,
Ooh,
Tiff.
it was like this smack across
Smack.
the face, and I saw stars, and again that blissful feeling just went. It was the most
Yeah,
blissful slap I've ever had. The funniest
the
thing,
wake up call.
I got an email at that exact time saying, "We're ready to take you to print."
I just love it. When the minute it pops, the minute you get the lesson, something pops through and it clicks. It's like, are you listening? Are you listening? And this is the frustrating thing. You can know that we're all actively doing the work. We're all actively looking for our stuff to try and transmute it. We're on the active path. But those times where there's something and you're just not seeing it. You're not seeing it. You're doing all this work, but the actual bit that you're looking for is not popping through. And the minute you get it, the minute you go, oh, click, it's that, the transformation comes in.
And it's never what you think.
No, but it's always instant, isn't it? It's always like, oh, the realization. Oh.
Yeah.
Uh.
Well, it's been amazing. We could chat all day. I've kept you 20 minutes longer. My God, the time just absolutely
Oh,
goes.
Tiff, we could chat for hours, I know. And it's so lovely to be sharing it live with people as well. And thank you all for your comments too. It's wonderful. So many, more conversations to come anyway, because we're not even at 11:11 yet.
No, and we've got Clubhouse next week, haven't we?
We do, yeah. On the 8th, didn't we put it in?
Yes. So I think, is it 4 p.m.?
I think so. To double check in my diary.
Just follow us. Just stalk us like the Hanged Man. That's really wrong, but you know what I mean. So just we will be, for those of you on Clubhouse, I will stick up a room for next week. So do come over and we can carry on the conversation there, and you can actually talk to us in Clubhouse. That's the good thing about Clubhouse.
You're gonna have to walk me through it. I haven't done a Clubhouse yet. I'm quite intrigued to see how it works. Tiff, you always teach me how to do these things. I think you were the first one to teach me how to do a Facebook Live many moons ago at some point. I think I ran one of your classes for you or something. I'm like, Tiff, can you show me how to do this? I'm always up in the ethers, never on the.
Well, there you go. You're doing it very well. You're doing it incredibly well. So it's lovely to see your trajectory, and thank you for always being, alongside my path as well here, and always so supportive of it. And show your cards again, just so people can see what they are. And Archangel Fire Oracle by Alexandra Wenman. Lucy says she's going to Rebless. I'm not sure what that is.
Rebless?
Oh,
Rebless. We're going to coin that.
Rebless, yes.
Thanks, Lucy. Yeah. Oh. And just in case anyone has had trouble getting hold of them, or for those that pre-ordered them and they came late, I'm so sorry. Basically what happened was they grew wings and they sold very, very quickly, and a lot of the Americans got hold of the deck first. So I think by the time it launched in the UK, there was low stock. I think Amazon's restocked now, and we've just reprinted 10,000 copies. So there should be plenty of stock coming in. So yeah, as far as I know, there's still stock available. But yeah, just if you can't get hold of any, do contact Inner Traditions or Findhorn Press and let them know. But yeah, it is being reprinted currently.
That's amazing.
Which is amazing. Yeah, they got 11 years to birth, but it's kind of worth it. I think that they've got their own wings, and but I'd love to hear anyone's feedback, and if you have the time to write a little Amazon review, I'd be so grateful as well. It really helps us to get them into other shops and things as well. Oh, I've lost you, Tiff. You're frozen again. Oh, there you are.
I'm back.
Did I petrify you with my rambling on? Did you turn to stone in the meantime?
A stone angel. So no, you didn't. So yes, please do that for Al. If you get a deck, it does make all the difference. It's amazing. One little thing, that takes a little moment, actually makes a whole difference on the other side. So thank you so much, Al, for being here. I'll see you in Clubhouse next week. So if you're in Clubhouse, follow me or Al, and you'll get notified. Press the little bell next to our names in Clubhouse, and you'll get notified of when we're on, but I think it's the 8th at 4. I'm pretty sure. Ding ding, sometime around then. And I think I forgot to put the link. This is typical. I think I forgot to put the link for the waiting list for Intuitive Awareness Day. So it's either in the post, guys, or I need to actually put it in. Yeah, no, I do. I need to put it in. I forgot. But it's the waiting list, and if you register on the waiting list, you'll get a discount. And it's really cheap as well. So it's like if you're online and you're staying online with us, it's cheap. If you want the whole kind of in person, not saying you have to be in person, Al, but if you guys want to come to Bath and hang out with me and watch it with me, and have spas and in the thermal spa, in the minerals in Bath, and go to Solis Minerva's Roman bath temple, and then it costs a little bit more because all of that comes included. But either way, if you sign up on the link, and I expect you're itching for that link now, and I haven't got it up there, but I will put it in as soon as I've come off of this. So just give me a moment and then come back here and refresh the post, and you'll see the link in there to get your name down for that. Either if you're online or in person, you just want to get your name in there, and then you'll get both of those options the cheapest way. All right, my lovelies. And Al, I'll see you next week. Thanks for an amazing riff with Tiff, as our last speaker called it.
Riff with Tiff. I love it.
All right, and here's to the blue and pink. Let's have a
Thank
ching
you,
ching.
angels. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Lots of love.
Thank you all. Lots of love. Bye bye.
Bye.